Welcome to part 4 of the 60 Tips for Grassroots Football Coaches compilation.
Use smaller targets for players when you're trying to get them to work on accuracy. So if you're playing matches or you're playing a possession game with end zones or a target at the end, instead of having goals to shoot in, maybe use smaller goals, or maybe put some cones out with a ball on top of each cone that they've got to try and knock off. By having these targets, players can't just smash the ball. So the players that rely on power will now have to look at placement as well. Okay, so this will help all your players improve the accuracy of their finishing by having these smaller targets. You might have a big goal with smaller targets in the corners, such as cones or balls on cones in the corners, and if you hit them or score in them, it's worth treble instead of 1 goal. Okay, but this will promote players trying to be more accurate rather than just smashing the ball. When you're doing possession practice or game related practices that are directional, if you have a wide pitch, that's going to encourage players to turn out on their back foot more and to try and switch play, and it'll encourage more spreading out wide. It will also allow more opportunities to play penetrating passes as it spreads to players. So these are the outcomes you're going to get from having a wider pitch. If you make a thinner and longer pitch, what you're going to encourage more is breaking lines and players creating angles to play through. So these completely different outcomes, but you might have a 30 by 50 yard pitch or a 20 by 40 yard pitch, but the way around that pitch goes dictates what outcomes you're going to get out of it. So figure out what you need and then figure out what the shape of your pitch needs to be. If you're trying to encourage passing, don't use every player has got to touch the ball before you score. If your striker gets the ball and remembers your goalkeeper hasn't touched it and turns around and passes to him or to her, you're probably not going to be happy about that during the match day. So why encourage it during training? I get the need to encourage passing, so just use however many passes you make is however many goals you get. So if they make 10 passes and score, it's worth 10. If they make 2 passes and score, it's worth 2. So the emphasis is still on that they have to score, but if they score, the amount of passes they make goes onto their total score. Okay, by doing this as well, the more passes and more possession they like to keep, the more pressure it builds because there's more reward there. So a risk versus reward factor comes into it as well, which makes it quite fun. Okay, so however many more passes you make is however many goals you get. Not everyone has to touch the ball before you score. Offsides. We're worried about teaching offsides as players get to 9-a-side. I would get them playing FIFA if you can. Sounds like most of them probably do anyway, but actually use FIFA to teach them the offside rule and get them to learn about offsides through FIFA. So this is a way you can make computer games useful because it can help you to teach the offside rule and probably some tactics as well. Give your goalkeeper time out on pitch. Okay, I've seen some academies do this where the goalkeeper spends a quarter of the time out on pitch because they've got an understanding of how vital it is for goalkeepers to have good technical ability with their feet and be composed and comfortable on the ball. So when you can, give your goalkeeper the opportunity to play on pitch in matches because they will get more touches and improve technically. This is obviously for younger age groups where you're trying to develop players. When you become adults and it's winning and it's all about winning, then you're obviously not going to do this. But at younger age groups, let them have time on pitch and see how they get on. Make sure your values are always aligned. So you need to make sure that the values with the club, the coach, the parents and the players are always aligned. And this is really important because when you go to work at a club, if that club is all about player development, equal playing time, players just playing for fun, and you as a coach are going, well, but I want to win games, or you as a coach are saying, I just want to develop players, I'm going to do equal playing time, rotating, shooting positions, don't care about results, etc. And then you've got parents that, all right, well, I want to win. I want my child to go and play at a professional academy. It's always going to end in tears or with issues. So you need to have these conversations right at the start with parents, players, clubs and coaches to make sure everyone's values are aligned. And if people are there that values don't align with everyone else, it is okay for them people then to go and find somewhere else, because ultimately that is probably what's going to happen. I've talked about there the nice side of rotation of positions, etc. If you've got a club, a coach, a player and parents who are all about, we want to win, we want to go and win trophies, we want to develop, we want to play at the highest level we can, that's okay as well, as long as everything is aligned with everyone.
In September, I am running an online coaching course for Grassroots coaches. This could be for coaches that are level 1, uefa C license, or level 2, and it's going to go through everything you need to coach your Grassroots team. There will be lots of value in this for new coaches as well as experienced coaches. We'll be running over 6 weeks with a series of webinars. If you miss a webinar, you'll be able to make it up as well. But we'll go through things like how to plan your sessions, how to adapt for individuals within your group, especially when you've got players that are at different ability levels. We'll go through formation, small-sided games, how to deal with some parents, how to create a culture for your team, how to develop individuals around the 4 corners to help them physically, technically, tactically, psychologically. We will go through loads and loads of session plans and session design stuff. In my experience, that's what Grassroots coaches want. They want help with designing their sessions and how they can do that over a season. So a large bulk of the 6-week course will be working on creating your sessions, making sure your sessions are appropriate for your players, and making sure your sessions are helping players develop. You can sign up and register interest for this course, and then we will be sending out links about how to get involved and get enrolled on the course. It will be starting in September. Hopefully you're looking at the 60 tips videos that we're currently releasing and going through. And you can find more information on the TSC Coaches Club, which is on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook as Seb Tidy. And we'll have lots of free content out there as well. You can already see a lot of free content on our Coaches Club, which, like I said, is on Facebook. And if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, there's loads on there. Any coaches you think that will really benefit from this course, please share this with them, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you on the course in September.